Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari. 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 Jana Vallabha Girivaridhari. Krishna is the lover of Radha. He displays many amorous pastimes in the groves of Vrindavan. He is the lover of the cowherd maidens of Braj, the holder of the great hill named Govardhan, and the beloved son Mother Jasoda, and the delighter of the inhabitants of Braj. He wanders in the forest along the banks of the river Jamuna. Please repeat. Narayanam namaskritya Naram Shaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Udirayat. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is the very means of conquest, one should offer respectful obeisances unto the personality of Godhead Narayan. Lord Narayan. Unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being. Unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning. And unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Srinvatam Swakata Krishna Punya Shravana Kirtana Vidyanta Bhadrani Vidunoti Saritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead. Who's the Paramatma super soul in everyone's heart. And the benefactor of the truthful devotee. Cleanse desire for material enjoyment. From the heart of the devotee. Who has developed the urge to hear his messages. Which are in themselves. Virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nasta Praeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavata Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. By regular attendance in classes on the Bhagavatam. By the rendering of service to the pure devotee. All that is troublesome to the heart. Is almost completely destroyed. And loving service unto the personality of Godhead. Whose praise with transcendental songs. Is established as an irrevocable fact. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. 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 Reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 2nd canto, 7th chapter, text 2. Please repeat. Jato Ruchir Ajanayat Suyoman Sujana Jato Ruchir Ajanayat Suyaman Suyajana Jato Ruchir Ajanayat Suyagya Vakuti Sunir Jato Ruchir Ajanayat Suyaman Sujagna
Wait a minute. We don't have the same.
Close, so
We were something's missing here. See, Jato Ruchir Ajanayat, and then it says Suyagya. What's the word that's a between?
Suyaman is one must be missing.
Suyamam. Okay, well we can remember that. Okay.
Sujagna. You got that one, right?
Suyamam. So Jato Ruchir Ajanayat Suyamo Suyagya.
Yeah.
It's not Suyamam, it's Suyamam.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's so many words in this one.
Yeah. Very similar words.
Oh, I can imagine what your comment.
I forgot to get it. I can go get it.
Jato Ruchir Anushayat Shuyaman. And Suyana. Alright. Yeah, it was a really long one. I read it twice too.
And the Bhagavatam verses get longer than the Bhagavad Gita verses.
Suyaman and
Yana.
Suyana. Okay. All right.
Suyanam and Suyana.
Well, we got the first line straight.
Alright, let's try this.
Okay.
Anybody want to do it? First line.
Jato Ruchir Ajanayat Suyaman Suyana.
Jato Ruchir Agnayat Suyaman Suyata.
Okay, please repeat. Akuti. Sunur. Amaran. Ata. Dakshinayam. Akuti. Please repeat. Akuti Sunir Amaram Ata Dakshinayam.
Akuti Sunur Amaran Ata Dakshinayam.
So we just wait until the end, and then that's
Yeah,
when everybody goes through
yeah.
it. Sorry, I'm getting confused too. Okay. Akuti Sunir Amaran Ata Dakshinayam.
Akuti Sunur Amaran Ata Dakshinam.
Loka Trayasha.
Wait a minute. Did you say Loka? Did you say Loka?
Loka, one loka.
Okay, just one.
Loka Trayasha Mahatim Aharad Yad Artim. Loka Trayasha Mahatim Aharad Yad Artim.
Lokatrayasha Mahatim Aharad Yad Artim. Swayambhuvena Manuna Harir It Yanukrita
Swayambhuvena Manuna Harir It Yanukta.
Swayambhuvena Mana Haririta.
This is it.
It's fun. It's like a roller coaster right now.
That's the word was.
Transcendental sound vibration. Anybody want to?
Prabhuji will attack. Go ahead.
One more time all the way through?
No, him. He will do it.
Okay.
Who's it? Me?
You.
Jato Ruchir Anjanat Suyaman Suyana. Jato Ruchir Anjanat Suyaman Suyana. Akuti Sunu Amaran Ata Dakshinayam.
Akuti Sunor Amaran Ata Dakshinayam.
Lokatrayasha Mahatim.
Lokatrayasha Mahatim.
Is it my supposed? Is
I
it?
think you're supposed to say the next one.
Oh, okay. So it's Lokatrayasha Mahatim Aharajat artim lokatrayasya mahatim akarajartim swayam bhuvena mauna haritanukta.
Swayam bhuvena mauna hariti anukta.
Tato ruchir artyan ayat shur aman suyagna.
Jato ruchir rajanyat swayam suyadna.
Akuti sunir amaran ata dakshinayam.
Akuti sunar amaran atta dakshinayam.
Lokatrayasya mahatim aharajat artim.
Lokatrayasya mahatim aharojadatim.
Swayam bhuvena manuna harir iti anuktaha.
Swaya bhuvena maunam haririti anukrita. Jato ruchir ajanyat suchim suyadana. Akuti sunir amam dakshinayam. Lokatrayasya mahatim aharajat atim. Swayam bhuvena manam haririti anukrita.
Watch me mess it up.
Okay.
Jaturuchiraknayat suyamam sunnakna.
Jato richir ajanat swayam suyagna.
Akuti sunuramaranata dakshinam.
Akuti sunur amanran yata dakshinayam.
Lokatrayasya mahatim aragyat artim.
Lokatrayasya mahatim aharajat atim.
Swayam bhuvena manuna haririti anukta.
Ayam bhuvena maunam haririti anukta.
That's it? Everybody? Okay. Please repeat. Jataha was born.
I was born
Richahe of the wife of Prajapati.
of the wife of the Prajapati.
Agyanayat
Ayana
gave birth.
gave birth.
Suyaman
Yaman,
headed by Suyama.
headed by Sunyana.
Sujagna
Suyachadana, Sujagna.
Akuti Sunu
Akuti Sunu,
the son of Akuti.
the son of Akuti.
Maran
Maran,
the demigods.
the demigods.
Ata
Ata,
thus.
thus.
Dakshinayam
Dakshinayam,
unto the wife of the name Daksina.
to the wife of the
Unto the wife of the name Dakshina.
wife of the name Dakshina.
Loka,
Loka,
the planetary systems.
the planetary systems.
Trayasha,
Trayasham,
of the three.
of the three.
Mahatim,
Mahatim,
very great.
very great.
Aharat,
Aharat,
diminished.
diminish.
Yat,
Yat,
all those.
all those.
Artim,
Artim,
distresses.
distresses.
Swayam Bhuvena,
Swayam Bhuvena,
by the modern name Swayambhuva. Swayambhuva.
by the modern name Swayambhuva.
Manunaha,
Manunaha,
by the father of mankind.
by the follower of mankind.
Hare,
Hari,
Hari.
Hari,
Iti,
Iti,
thus.
thus.
Anukutaha,
Anukutaha,
names.
name.
Please repeat. Translation. The Prajapati
The Prajapati
first begot Sujagna
first begot Sujagna
in the womb of his wife Akuti.
in the womb of his wife Akuti.
And then Sujagna
And then Sujagna
begot demigods,
got demigods,
headed by Suyama.
headed by Suyama,
in the womb of his wife Daksina.
in the womb of his wife
Sujagna,
Sujagna,
as the Indradev,
as the Indradev,
diminished very great miseries in the three planetary systems,
diminished very great miseries in the three planetary systems,
upper, lower, and intermediate.
upper, lower, and intermediate.
And because he so diminished the miseries
And so
of the universe, he was later called Hari,
he was later called Hari,
the great father of mankind,
the great father of mankind,
namely Swayambhuva Manu.
namely Swayambhuva Manu.
I'll read that translation again. The Prajapati first begot Sujagna in the womb of his wife Akuti, and then Sujagna begot demigods headed by Suyama in the womb of his wife Daksina. Sujagna, as the Indradev, diminished very great miseries in the three planetary systems, upper, lower, and intermediate. And because he so diminished the miseries of the universe, he was later called Hari, by the great father of mankind, named Swayambhuva Manu. It's a very short purport. I just find grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. In order to guard against the invention of unauthorized incarnations of God by the fanciful, less intelligent persons, the name of the father of the bona fide incarnation is also mentioned in the authorized revealed scriptures. No one, therefore, can be accepted as an incarnation of the Lord if his father's name, as well as the name of the village or place in which he appears, is not mentioned by the authorized scriptures. In the Bhagavad Purana, the name of the Kalki incarnation, which is to take place in almost 400,000 years, is mentioned along with the name of his father and the name of the village in which he will appear. A sane man, therefore, does not accept any cheap edition of an incarnation without reference to the authorized scriptures. Translation again. The Prajapati first begot Sujagna in the womb of his wife Akuti, and then Sujagna begot demigods, headed by Suyama, in the womb of his wife Daksina. Sujagna, as Indradev, diminished very great miseries in the three planetary systems, upper, lower, and intermediate. And because he so diminished the miseries of the universe, he was later called Hari, by the great father of mankind, namely Swayambhuva Manu. Do you know the name of the village and the father of Kalki incarnation? I used to know, I don't remember. Yeah, that's really amazing. I think even now, still in India, when you're known that it's your name, and then something like your father's name, and then the village you're from, is that? I don't know if they're still doing that, but that's what I've heard, Not incarnations of Krishna, but just regular people.
Well, ask for when you go to the temple and are interceding for something, then the pujari will ask what is your gotra, which is like, your lineage, your family line. But I don't know about what else you can.
Yeah. I was yesterday evening just reading, and I was asking Fit, I said, I think you mentioned something about you're in Scotland, where he's from. So that used to be the tradition. He said even his name has something to do with the village, the father, the type like that, So I thought throughout the world there's remnants of Vedic culture just everywhere, Martial arts, We practice bhakti marga, it's the path of devotional service. Then martial arts, you've got judo, do means the path of Jew, right? Taekwondo, the path of Taekwondo. It ends with do, it just means the path of, martial arts, the discipline. Just like we practice discipline as well. It's just that in our discipline, we don't get as many broken bones, and you don't get hurt as much. You get hurt all the time in martial arts unless you're doing Tai Chi, maybe, But,
in Ireland also, like O, when it says like Ojan or O'Rourke, meant the son of. Look, yeah, that's how your last name meant the son of so and so.
Yeah, I was talking to Valery the other day about remnants of Vedic culture in Russia. I said, what do you know about that? And he didn't know that much about it, you know. But he says that in the Russian culture, and actually Fed is backing this up too, he says you really don't stick out. It's because the reason they have the monarchy. So anytime that you put your personality up there like a celebrity or you're rich or whatever, they don't like that, you know. I mean, we practice spiritual communism. It's not the same thing as regular communism, you know. But he was saying that's what it's about, whatever he was trying to explain it to me, you know. That they were really mistreated by the Tsars or whatever, you know, throughout time. So they really rebelled against that, what's it called, monarchy, you know, type of system. So that everybody could be treated with respect. That's what everybody wants anyway. So then I was thinking, because I know Fayette once before he was talking about how in the Asian culture, you also don't, if there's a nail that's up, they'll pound it down. You know, nobody wants to stick up higher than the others. You know what I mean? You're supposed to conform. So in a way, it's kind of like Vedic culture, but I don't know if it's a little bit artificial or not. But in the Vedic culture, you know, like we're disciples, that means discipline. So we practice discipline. It's part of the path of bhakti. Knowledge, renunciation, and devotional service, Prabhu says. This is how we attain, you know, the spiritual realm. How we reunite with Krishna. Now, just like we know that if a king or a Jarshi, saintly king, has the blessings of the Lord, then his ruling his people will go very nicely and they will prosper. That's because we're getting the blessings of Krishna. As long as the enlightened leader, the saintly king, is following the instructions of Krishna, then the people will be prosperous. You know, when we entered into Kali Yuga, the kings, that's when they were lords of all I surveyed, but when the kings actually started to believe, I really am Lord of all I surveyed, instead of representing God, that's when everything became perverted, and the people gradually lost faith in the monarchies. Monarchies are a good way to go if you have a saintly king. But starting 5,000 years ago, a lot of that just pretty much went out the door, you know. Unfortunately, it's not that we're condemned in Kali Yuga, but it's an extremely inauspicious age, you know, extremely inauspicious age. But the one nice thing about it, Kali Yuga, Harinama, Harinama, Harinama Eva Kevalam, Kalam Nasteva, Nasteva Gatyanyata. In this age of quarrel and hypocrisy, the only means of deliverance is chanting the holy name of the Lord. There is no other way, there is no other way, there is no other way. So, we follow Lord Chaitanya's process, chanting the Mahamantra. Prabhupada says that everything can be accomplished by transcendental sound vibration. And this is the authorized process that the Lord personally came in Kali Yuga to bring it to all mankind, to attain that golden ring in the sky. The highest possible goal is to reconnect with our most beloved Lord Shri Krishna. But so in this age, when we go out every day, if we can find somebody new, at least one person a day, even 3 is even better. 3 people is even better who've never even heard of Krishna. And certainly, maybe they've heard of the Hare Krishnas, you know, and maybe they have said Hare Krishna once in their life. But if you can get them to say it just one more time, you know, Prabhupada said that they're relieved of unlimited quantities of sins just by saying Hare Krishna. So I wanted to say this is for tomorrow. It's just one paragraph. I'm not stealing anything, but it's from the text tomorrow, which is a much longer purport also. But Prabhu says in the purport, the living entities, by their very constitution, are spiritually as good as the Lord, and the only difference between them is that the Lord is always supreme and pure, without contamination, by the modes of material nature, whereas the living entities are apt to be contaminated by association with the material modes of goodness, passion, and ignorance. This contamination by the material modes can be washed off completely by knowledge, renunciation, and devotional service. Devotional service to the Lord is the ultimate issue, and therefore those who are directly engaged in the devotional service of the Lord not only acquire the necessary knowledge and spiritual science, but also attain detachment from material connection, and are thus promoted to the kingdom of God by complete liberation, as stated in the Bhagavad Gita 14:26. Mamchayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogin sevate sagunam samatitya tam brahmabhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down in any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature, and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Sri Lochana Das Thakur, his disappearance. There's quite a lot to read, so I'll just go ahead and start reading now. Sri Lochana Das Thakur appeared in this world in 1520 AD, 34 years after the appearance of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lochana Das wrote a biography on Lord Chaitanya entitled Sri Chaitanya Mangala, and he wrote many devotional songs. Sri Lochana Das Thakur took birth in a family of Rarhiya physicians who resided in the village of Kobram, within the Mahakumar Katna district of Badarman. His guru was Sri Narahari Shakar Thakur. Quote, I am the servant of Thakur Sri Narahari, who is the master of my life, the desire of all my desires. I place at his lotus feet, which is that this vile creature myself might describe something about the wonderful qualities of Sri Gaurasundar. In this expectation, here is my only refuge, Chaitanya Mangala Sattva Kanda. His father's name was Sri Kamalakara Das, and his mother's name Sri Sadananda. He was the only son of his parents. He was raised in his maternal grandfather's home, and his education was completed there. When he was only a little boy, he enjoyed the good fortune of meeting the devotees of Sri Gauranga. He was married at a very young age. From his youth, he was very attached to Sri Gaurasundar, and consequently very disinterested in material life. Though he was surrounded by family, friends, and society, in his youth, he spent the major part of his time at his guru's Shripat, Sri Kanda, where he learned how to do kirtan. The book they composed, Chaitanya Mangala, was from the diary of Sri Marari Gupta. Marari Gupta, who resides at Nadia, composed many beautiful verses about the life of Sri Gauranga. These include the youthful pastimes of Nimai, which Marari Gupta personally took part in, and his later pastime in Nilachala, after he accepted sannyas, which were narrated by Sri Damodar Pandit. Having heard these verses of Marari Gupta composed in Sanskrit, I have become very attracted, and so I have composed them in the village folk poetry metered in Bengali. End quote. In his Chaitanya Mangala, Srila Lochana Das Thakur has written, quote, my hope of hopes is to be near the lotus feet of Sri Narahari Thakur, to serve and worship him with my very life. The cherished desire of the fallen Lochana Das is to be allowed by the grace of Narahari to sing the glories of Sri Gauranga. My Lord is Sri Narahari Thakur, and I am his servant. Bowing and praying before him, I beg him to allow his service. Allow me his service. This is my only aspiration, end quote. Previously in Bengal, especially East Bengal, now Bangladesh, the poets used to compose sacred songs and verses in different forms of classic rhymes and rhythmic meters called Panchali, such as Lakshmir Panchali, Sanir Panchali, and Manasa Basan. The Panchali style of composition was especially used for glorifying the Lord. Srila Lochana Das Thakur used the Panchali form of verse meter in composing his famous work, Sri Chaitanya Mangala. The Panchali form employs 5 different kinds of song styles or meters. The principal source material that was drawn upon by Sri Lochana Das Thakur in composing his Chaitanya Mangala was a Sanskrit book by Murari Gupta called Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita. See more books by Mahaprabhu here. Lochana Das Thakur explains this in his Chaitanya Mangala as follows, quote, that very Murari Gupta, who lived in Nadia, composed many Sanskrit verses about the life of Sri Gauranga, which he later arranged in the form of a book. Having heard these verses from Murari Gupta, Damodar Pandit taught them to me, and I memorized them with great delight. As these Sanskrit verses and the conception of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu imparted to me through Damodar Pandit developed within my mind, it flowed forth from me in the form of these Panchali verses in Bengali, which I write in glorification of the life and pastimes of Sri Chaitanya. C.M. Sutra Kanda, in his preface to the Chaitanya Mangala, Srila Lochana Das Thakur offers his prayers to Vrindavan Das Thakur before proceeding with the narrative. He says, quote, I offer my prayers of submission to Vrindavan Das Thakur with all my heart. The sweet song of his Chaitanya Bhagavat has enchanted the whole world. Vrindavan Das Thakur's Chaitanya Bhagavat was originally called Chaitanya Mangala. It is said that Sri Lochana Das Thakur and Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami gave it the name Chaitanya Bhagavat. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami writes, Krishna Lila Bhagavate Kahe Veda Vyas Chaitanya Lilara Vyas Vrindavan Das. Veda Vyas has described the pastimes of Krishna in his Bhagavat. Vyas of Chaitanya Lila is Vrindavan Das. From this comparison between Veda Vyas and Vrindavan Das, it has been concluded that Kaviraj Goswami is probably responsible for Vrindavan Das Thakur's work becoming known as the Bhagavat of Chaitanya Lila, or Chaitanya Bhagavat. There are many pastimes of Sri Chaitanya that have only been touched on briefly by Vrindavan Das Thakur. These are described in detail in the Chaitanya Mangala of Lochana Das Thakur. The Chaitanya Mangala is divided into 4 parts: Sutra Kanda, Adi Kanda, Madhyam Kanda, and Sesha Kanda. The Sutra Kanda has 2 chapters, Adi Kanda has 7 chapters, Madhyam Kanda 12, and the Sesha Kanda 3. The contents of the Adi Kanda are as follows. The first chapter in the Sutra Kanda is called Mangala Charanam, or auspicious invocation. It begins with a song of the glories of Sri Chaitanya, and then praises the Vaishnavas who are personal associates of Sri Chaitanya. After this, Lochana Das Thakur offers respects to his Gurudev, Nara Sakara Thakur, and prays for his Guru's mercy. He offers his obeisances at the lotus feet of the countless devotees and personal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, known and unknown. Having prayed for the blessings of Guru and Vaishnavas, Lochana Das explains that Murari Gupta had written a book in Sanskrit called the Chaitanya Charitamrita, and that since that book is no longer available, he is giving its essence in the form of Bengali verse called Panchali. He then briefly describes the subjects found in the Adi, Madhyam, and Sesha Kandas. The second chapter of the Sutra Kanda is called Grantar Ramba, For here the book actually begins. In this chapter, Lochana Das relates how he heard from Damodar Pandit the story of Jamini's Mahabharata recital, wherein he describes a conversation between Narada and Uddhava. In that conversation, Narada explained the cause of Krishna's appearance in the golden form of Sri Gauranga. One time Narada saw that with the coming of the age of Kali, the living beings had fallen into great suffering. He began to worry about how they could be delivered and the principles of Dharma restored. Thinking in this way, he decided that only Krishna's descent into this world would deliver the fallen souls and restore the principles of religion. Wanting to appeal to Krishna to descend as an avatar, he set out for Dwarka Dham. At that time, Krishna was staying in the palace of Sri Rukmini Devi. Just then, upon learning that Sri Krishna would soon appear on earth in a golden form, with a golden luster and a devotional mood of Radharani, Rukmini Devi became deeply troubled. Feeling separation from the Lord, she fell at the lotus feet of Krishna and began praising the quality of Sri Radha, whose devotion was so glorious that Krishna wanted to honor her by assuming her luster and mood. At that time, Narada entered the room. He explained to Krishna the reason for his trip, that he wanted Krishna to descend to the earth planet in order to deliver the fallen souls. At that time, Krishna revealed to him how in the future he would appear as the son of Sakshi Devi and Jagannath Mishra in Navadvip Dham, in a golden form with all his transcendental associates. Having seen that golden form revealed, Narada was overwhelmed with ecstasy, constantly thinking of this golden form and the Lord's plans to appear in Navadvip Dham as Sri Gauranga. Narada, the best of Munis, went to visit Naimisharanya, all the while singing the glories of the Lord. There, in answer to Uddhava's inquiries about the welfare of the living beings, he explained how in Kali Yuga, the best of all ages, because of Sri Gauranga's advent, Krishna would appear in a golden form as Sri Gauranga and perform the kirtan of the holy name of Hari. Narada told Uddhava how the Lord would come to establish the sankirtan of the holy name of Krishna as the Yuga Dharma, the religious principle for the age of Kali. Narada explained the glories of kirtan. Thereafter, Narada Muni related to Uddhava the discussion that had previously taken place when he had gone to Kailash to visit Lord Shiva, the best of Vaishnavas. There, Narada and Parvati discussed the glories of Mahaprasad. Having heard of the glories of Mahaprasad from Narada, Parvati had performed 12 years of Lakshmi Seva. By her mercy, Parvati got some of Lakshmi Devi's own Mahaprasad and also gave Shiva a small bit of that prasad. Not able to tolerate the dancing of Lord Shiva upon obtaining this Mahaprasad, the earth came before Parvati, begging her to give to the Mahaprasad of the Vaishnavas to all the Jivas. With this proposal, Parvati explained how the Gaura avatar would come in Kali Yuga and distribute Mahaprasad to all the fallen souls. After this, Narada went to Brahma and discussed the Gaura Arti avatar with him. Brahma, the creator at that time, explained to him the essential subject of the Srimad Bhagavatam and showed him how the version of the Bhagavatam supported the Gaura avatar. After this, Narada began wandering here and there. As he went from place to place, he became concerned about the sufferings of the jivas. As he was worrying about living entities in this way, he came near Jagannath Puri. There he heard a divine voice discussing the avatar of Jagannath. On the order of the divine voice, he went to Puri. From there, the Lord ordered him to go to Goloka. First he came to Vaikuntha. After this, he arrived in Goloka, where he saw many pastimes of the Lord. There he saw the Lord in his golden form of Sri Gaura and fainted in ecstasy. After this, he went all over the universe, informing all the gods of the news. In Svetadvip, he saw the supernatural pastimes of Balaram, the very figure of service. After this, all the demigods began taking birth on earth, as previously mentioned by Krishna in his conversation with Rukmini. The Lord, along with Satyabhama, Rukmini, and all his eternal associates from the spiritual world, came with the luster and mood of Radharani in a golden form as Sri Gauranga. He came to spread the sankirtan of the holy name of Krishna. Balaram came as Nityananda. Shiva came as Advaita Prabhu. And other great souls descended as his other eternal associates like Murari, Mukunda, Srivas, Roy Ramananda, Ishvarapuri, Madhavendra Puri Lochanadas Thakur concludes the chapter by praising the glories of his guru, Sri Narhari Shankar Thakur, and his nephew, Raghuvananda Thakur. The first chapter of the Adi Leela of Chaitanya Mangala describes the Janma Leela, or birth pastimes, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The chapter first describes the advent of the Lord's eternal associates who appeared in this world before Mahaprabhu himself. Lochanadas Thakur describes the Lord as the remote and immediate cause of creation, the Parabrahman, Sri Narayan himself, as Supreme Personality of Godhead, descended from the womb of Sachidev and abandoned himself upon this earth. In this way, gradually Sachi's womb grew day by day, and her body assumed a supernatural effulgence. Seeing her wonderful bodily effulgence, everyone was astonished and thought, quote, surely a great personality is about to take birth from the womb of Sri Sachidev. When her, quote, pregnancy was in its 6th month, one day Advaita Acharya Prabhu went to the house of Sachidevi and Jagannath Mishra. Arriving there, he offered his obeisances to the child in the womb of Mother Sachi, and then circumambulated her. Sachi Devi and Jagannath Mishra could not understand the cause of Advaita's unusual behavior. In this way, Brahma, Shiva, and the other gods came to offer their respects to that Supreme Personality of Godhead who had hidden himself within the womb of Sachi Devi, knowing well that he would soon advent himself in this world to deliver the lowest of men with the highest nectar of Krishna prema. Detecting their presence, Sachi Devi felt great joy. When the heart of Sachi Devi was full of mercy for the whole world, that is to say, when the most merciful Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu had completely filled her heart, gradually the 10th month came. After this, taking advantage of an auspicious moment, on a full moon day in the month of Falguna, in the midst of Hari Sankirtan, Sri Gaurachandra appeared like a golden moon from the ocean of the womb of Mother Sachi. In this way the Lord appeared on the earth, and the 10 directions were jubilant. The gods and goddesses, men and women, eager to see the moon-like face of the son of Sachi, hurried to the house of Jagannath Mishra and Sachi Devi. In this way their home was transformed into Vaikuntha. Jagannath Mishra and all the residents of Nadia, who had turned out to see that divine child, were all struck with wonder to see his beauty. He had a neck like a lion, arms like the trunks of elephants, and a broad chest. His lotus feet were marked with the auspicious symbols of Lord Vishnu, a flag, a thunderbolt, a rod for driving elephants. Seeing all these wonderful and superhuman manifestations of divinity in the child, the people there were all astonished. Everyone speculated about his supernatural origin, saying, quote, he is definitely not an ordinary human, end quote. For 8 days, the newborn child and its mother were quarantined, as is traditional for childbirth in Bengal. And on the 9th day, a great festival was held. At that time, all the neighbors were filled with great joy to see the boy, and their attraction for him increased. The 2nd chapter of the Adi Kanda describes the Lord's Bala Leela childhood pastimes. Here, Lochanadas Thakur describes how, after 6 months, the grain-eating ceremony of Sri Gaur Sundar was held, and after this, the name-giving ceremony was performed. At the appearance of the Lord, the whole world was delighted. Since the Lord gave pleasure to the whole world, the Brahmins said his name would be Vishwambar. Soon Vishwambar began to walk by holding onto Jagannath Mishra's finger with his tiny hand. The different women in the village used to decorate him with different ornaments, and they would wonder at the beautiful effulgence that emanated from the child, which was as bright as moons and moons. The moon outside can bring the darkness of the night only slightly. The moon outside can brighten the darkness of night only slightly, but the moon of Sri Gaurachandra can eliminate all darkness, both within and without. Sachi Devi would sing to her son while threshing wheat, and at that time all the demigods are offering prayers to her son. Seeing this, Sachi Devi was quite amazed. Sometimes she would see Gaurahari chanting the glories of Radha Krishna with the gods and would become astonished and faint. When she had heard ankle bells ringing on the bare feet of her child, again she was bewildered. Sometimes she was afraid that ghosts were causing a disturbance, and sometimes she would look in the mouth of her child and, beholding the universal form, become completely astonished. In this way, gradually, Gaura Hari grew all old enough to play outside, where he astounded his newfound childhood friends with his divine antics. His playmates were quite attached to him. Sachi Devi would carry the baby Gaura Hari in her arms and watch after him carefully as he ran about, to keep him from smashing everything as he played. Once he explained to Mother Sachi the nature of things pure and impure, instructing her on the Prakrita nature of Krishna, who is the master of everything. While sitting on a heap of broken clay pots, soiled with leftovers, he instructed his mother on Jnana. Seeing his mother bewildered, he brought her some coconut fruit. In this way he performed many childhood pranks. He used to play with puppy dogs. When Sachi Devi chastised him for playing with the dog, and Gaura Hari had to give up his pet, he cried tears of anger before Sachi Devi. At that time he bestowed a divine spiritual body upon that dog while performing Hari Kirtan. The dog went to Vaikuntha, and as Brahma, Shiva, and the other demigods saw the good fortune of the dog, they were all amazed. Sachi Devi was astonished at the activities of her son, who made her understand his supreme position as the absolute Lord. The fourth chapter of the Adi Lila, or Chaitanya Mangala, describes the Lord's Bhaganda, or Boyhood Lila. Having heard Marari Gupta reciting the Yoga Shastras, the Lord mimicked his gestures and speech, making fun of him, and then began to laugh uproariously. Thus, Marari Gupta was enraged and chastised the Lord with the words of anger. In return, the boy, intending to express his contempt for the conclusions of yogis, went to Marari's afternoon lunch and urinated on Marari Gupta's plate. After this, he instructed Marari Gupta on the superiority of Krishna Bhakti. Well, there's lots of pages. I'll read the last two paragraphs. Actually, when Lord Chaitanya passed through the forest known as Jarikanda, the tigers, elephants, snakes, deer, and all other animals joined him in chanting Hare Krishna. It is so nice that anyone can join. Even the animals can join, what to speak of human beings. Of course, it is not possible for ordinary men to induce animals to chant, but if Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can inspire animals to chant, at least we can encourage human beings to adopt this path of Hare Krishna mantra chanting. It is so nice that even the most stone-hearted man will be melted. It is so nice that even stone will melt. But Lochana Das Thakur regrets that he is entrapped by sense gratification. He addresses himself, quote, "My dear mind, you are entrapped in this sense gratification process, and you have no attraction for chanting Hare Krishna. Since you have no attraction for the lotus feet of Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, what can I say? I can simply think of my misfortune. Yamaraj, the superintendent of death, is punishing me by not allowing me to be attracted by this movement." End quote. Sri Lochanadas Thakur was born in Shakabda 1445 and disappeared in 1540. So I guess he lived 95 years.
Yeah, I thought, almost 100 years old. My Guru Maharaj now is one of the many services he's doing is, he's fluent Bengali speaking, so often for his Facebook Live classes, one devotee will read the Bengali from, there's all different, like 6 or 8 different biographies of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, some that I've never even heard of, and so he'll read the Bengali and then my Guru Maharaj will translate. And so he's compiling what they're calling the Sri Krishna Chaitanya book that will read like Prabhupada's Krishna book of the 10th canto in story form of Lord Chaitanya's Leela, like that. And it's just like a huge undertaking, but he's pretty far. He's not as, Mahaprabhu hasn't gone to Puri yet, but he's in Navadvip and, like propagating the Sankirtan movement. And actually the GBC kind of ordered him, to do it. And, so that was one of the things he wanted to finish and work on, before he left. And some of the things that you never heard of. So amazing. Like when you were reading, I remember how he was telling about, in one account, how Mother Sachi tells little boy Nimai to go and get his brother Vishwarup, who would go and hear the Bhagavatam from Advaitacharya. So the little Lord Chaitanya would like toddle over there, wherever it was going on, must have been nearby, and dragging his blanket, and go into the assembly, and everybody would just be like, just struck by how beautiful and sweet and innocent he was, you know. And so just like to hear these descriptions, sometimes it's just so amazing. So amazing.
Thank you for that, Mataji.
Jai Shri Prabhupada, thank you Prabhu, Jai Vaishnava.
Glad to someone devotee, Shishi Grantai Parapara, Shishmara Kanta Ki Jai. Wow, that fog is really thick out there today.
Yeah, it's, I don't know how long. I was telling, maybe I told Krishna, I have a good friend, a devotee from Denmark, and she said it's like this most of the time there, like dreary and overcast and drizzling, and as soon as the sun comes out, everybody goes to the beach. It doesn't matter if it's cold or what it is. And she said also the suicide rate there is really high, because they think because of one of the reasons for the weather, it's just so gloomy and depressing.
You know, if you think about it, that sunshine is like Krishna's bodily effulgence. I mean, it's like the less we have of Krishna, the more suicidal we feel.
Yeah. That's for sure.
When you talked about the sun rising, I can't remember exactly, but what comes to my mind was remembrance of Govinda Dasi and how Prabhupada taught her this wonderful verse. I'm sorry I don't remember the Sanskrit, but it reminded me of the sun rising, because it was saying how I offer my respectful condolences unto Lord Chaitanya and Lord Nityananda, who simultaneously arisen like the sun and the moon on the bank of Gora, to dissipate the darkness of ignorance throughout the world. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, it's so beautiful.
Yeah, it's a nice verse.
I call days like this gray days, because it's different shades of gray.
Yeah. I remember Mahalakshmi, one of her daughters, her name is Govardhan Leela, and when she was really little, it was a foggy day like this, and she told her mother, everything is so plain, you know, like, why is it so plain, like that, because it's colorful, bright, that's how she could describe it.
I remember in the old days, all the pictures I saw coming out of Russia were shades of gray.
Really?
Just gray. I mean, there was no color. Until later years, you know. It just seems so dreary.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I didn't have to take birth in that place.
Yeah. I would be miserable.
A lot of devotees there now, though.
Yeah. It's wonderful.
Even in Siberia, they have, I don't know if they have a temple, but they have devotees in Siberia.
In Siberia?
Yeah. Which is like, what? Every town and village.
I know they have the snow tiger, I believe it is. It's like the biggest cat in the world. Very, very long. And it stays by itself. It's a loner. And you just never see them out in nature. It's hardly